Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Inside the Vinyl. I'm your host, Tim Bianconi. Before we get started, if you would like, share, and comment on this video, if you would also subscribe to my channel below, that would be greatly appreciated. So I want to get back into my live album series, and this time I want to go with another classic rock juggernaut, and that would be the band Aerosmith. Just to give you a little backstory, Aerosmith formed in 1970. Their first album came out in 1973. They had their big breakthrough with their 1975 album, Toys in the Attic. They followed that up with what I think is their best record, 1976's Rocks. And then from there, they had a bit of a shaky time for a while. 1977's Draw the Line, while decent, I don't personally think is all that great. It's like bottom 2 or 3 on the list of Aerosmith records for me. But in 1978, October of 1978, in fact, they jumped on the live album bandwagon with everybody else and released Aerosmith Live Bootleg. So most of the recordings on this album are from 1978 as well as 1977. There are a few from a radio broadcast from 1973. The album was certified platinum and reached as high as number 13 on the Billboard charts. So let's take a look. The show's called Inside the Vinyl, so let's take a look and see what's inside this vinyl. So I think this is an original issue. I picked this up at the used record store. But here is the front cover. Pretty basic. They did everything they could to make this look like it was a bootleg. Here's the back of the album. And it looks so much like a bootleg, there's even some fake coffee stains on it, so that's pretty cool. Pretty basic. It just looks like crappy wallpaper. But let's take a look at the inside. Nice. So the inside just has a collage of pictures from tours and whatever else. Lots of pictures of the band playing. I'm sure there's also some backstage stuff pictured there as well. Nope, not really. Pretty much just concert footage from various concerts. Looks like even a picture from what I assume was like Texas Jam from '78. I might be wrong about that. I'm not sure, but lots of concert pictures. All right. And I don't think there's anything too fancy or whatever about the records themselves, but let's take a look at the sleeve anyway. So if you pull out the first sleeve, there's just pictures of each member of the band. So that's pretty cool. And then let's see, if you flip it over, it just has the track listing for the first record. And it does indicate where they were recorded and everything else. It also has some liner notes like production, engineering, recording, so on and so forth. Your information about the records in case you're, a nerd like I am, that likes to know all that stuff. So that's pretty cool. Nothing special about the record. Your standard Columbia sticker in the middle, pretty standard black vinyl. Nothing too special there. So we'll slide that back in. We'll go ahead and take a look at the other side. Again, I think these are different pictures of the band. If they're not, I'm sorry, but there's more pictures of the band, including some very old Sprite cans with that old pull top thing that you pulled off. Man, I remember those when I was a kid. Anyway, so there's the pictures of the band, and then on the back it has the track listing for the second record, and some more liner notes and stuff over here. And I think in this case, there's liner notes, and then there's also their fan club information. But the thank you right there is for the radio station that they pulled the 1973 tracks from, and we'll get to that in just a second. So let me go ahead and put this back. All right. So, let's talk about this album for a minute. Let me just set this up here. Okay, so, it's got all the hits of the time. I mean, it starts right off with Back in the Saddle and then jumps into Sweet Emotion. We've also got a smoking version of Toys in the Attic, Walk This Way, Dream On. I mean, all the songs you would expect. But there's also some really cool stuff on here, like Lord of the Thighs is a bit of a deep cut from Get Your Wings. That's on here, great track. They also have a version of I want to say maybe their first release version of Come Together, and I don't think that was actually live from a concert. That was from something called The Warehouse, so I don't know if that one was live like in concert per se or whatever. I think that might have been like a place where they practiced or recorded together. I don't know. I'll look that up, and if I'm wrong, I'll put a correction somewhere. Let's see. They also have a version of Chip Away the Stone on here, which I think they did release as a B-side or a single or something like that somewhere in the 70s, but the studio version that I came to know was later released on a compilation called Gems. But there is a version of it on here, and that's a really cool song written by Richie Supa, who was a guy that, that band was friends with, that, played some stuff, played a little bit on a couple albums and wrote a few songs that Aerosmith did. And let's see. And then, my favorite tracks on this are on side 4. And that would be from that radio broadcast that I mentioned from 1973. It was a Boston radio broadcast. And they do a song called I Ain't Got You, which I think is a Yardbirds tune. I may be completely wrong about that. I'll look it up. And then another song called Mother Popcorn that's got like a dude playing saxophone on it. It's really cool. But I Ain't Got You, again, I'll have to look it up and see who the original version was. But I love that tune. This record, I will say, allegedly there's no overdubs on this because I guess at the time Aerosmith felt like, it was pretty much standard fare for a band to do a double live album. And they were really slick and clean sounding and lots of overdubs and fixes and whatnot. And I guess, they said they didn't want that. They wanted something to feel like it was a bootleg. So I think some of the tracks on here were recorded on cassettes and not even like from the soundboard. So there's like hissing and stuff in there. And I mean, who knows? I mean, a lot of bands, are accused of overdubbing their live albums. Some of them admit it, some of them don't. I will say from the sound of this record, I would believe them that there's no overdubs. And, given the timetables, they were pretty much, partying it up and, really starting to kind of go down a bad road at this point. And they were kind of notorious for either having amazing performances or having really sloppy performances. And I will say, while I do like the recordings on this record, a lot of them are very loose and somewhat sloppy in places. And that could have been the recording. That could have been, the state the band was in at the time. Who knows? But I will say, side 4, those 1973 tracks, mostly I Ain't Got You, that is the number 1 best song on this record, in my opinion. I love, love, love that tune, and I love the way they do it. It's amazing. So, again, and one thing I will say about this in closing, when it comes to live albums, some bands will put out a live album, like AC/DC or somebody like that, and it's like the audience fades in, they play the song, and then it fades out. And then it goes to the next song fades in, like with the audience fading in. Like, so it's all like separate tracks, and it doesn't really sound like an actual concert. It just sounds like live tracks. So even though, these tracks were recorded from different places in 77, 78, and even in some cases 73, they do a pretty good job of blending it together, like fading, just from one to the other, or transitioning one from the one to the other, to make it, sound like a true live record. Like, at least you're like in concert with them, so you don't hear it fade out and then fade back in and all that. Because to me, that just kind of takes away from it sounding like an actual concert. So that's pretty cool. Now, my overall opinion on this record, it's a decent live record. Like I said, I mean, I can appreciate what they were going for with the recording techniques and wanting it to sound bootleggy and not all slick and overproduced and overdubbed like everybody else's. But at the same time, I don't know that it holds up as well with some of those other records. And actually, they have other live records that I actually prefer. In the 80s, 1986, their old management company put out an album called Classics Live, which actually featured mostly tracks from their 1982 and 83 lineup that didn't include Brad Whitford and Joe Perry. And I actually prefer that live record to this one. Those live recordings were a little sloppy too because the band was all fucked up or whatever. But still, something about those recordings, on Classics Live 1, just stick with me. And I actually like that live album much better than this one. But that's not to say this isn't good. It's still decent. It's just, maybe I like those overproduced and overdubbed live records or the feel of them or whatever more so than this one. But still a good record, still worth talking about, and still one of the legendary live albums of the 70s by a very legendary band. So hope you enjoyed that. That's all I have this time. Like I said, if you could go ahead, like, share, and comment on my video, as well as subscribe to my channel, that would be greatly appreciated. I have some other stuff out there. I have my Unboxing the Vinyl series where we open up new releases and reissues and whatever else. I also have the rest of my Inside the Vinyl series, not only my live album series, but also my Lost Classics. I have concert footage from some festivals, Exit 111, as well as a few Welcome to Rockvilles. There's also some footage from a Kiss concert and some other stuff out there, so check that out from when we were still able to go to concerts. Hopefully we're getting back to that soon. And if you like crappy, mediocre disc golf videos, I've got a few of those out there as well. So like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.
In that pool.